So it's been a while since we've had a good Rigetti spaghetti video. The revenue for the company is growing, but it seems like the cash burn is still very high. So what does that mean for the stock? Where are we going to see Rigetti potentially go next? In this video, we're going to be breaking down some of the business as it sits, the risks, and of course the chart. And the chart here is what we're really going to dive into. See this breakdown and this support level. We're going to be watching key levels in this video. And by the way, if you want to learn how to analyze the chart and find stronger entry, clearer exits, and just better opportunities, that's exactly what we're going to be teaching next week during the chart reading challenge. You'll also get access to Stockmate, our daily live trading, completely free when you join VIP of the challenge. So simply have a look at that first link in the description. Rigetti stock has been selling off from all-time highs at $58 a share at one point. Now, we've been covering them since around $1 a share back here in October or November of 2024. And I saw them go up to 21. In fact, we started investing in them as well around 8. And we saw them dip and correct in this massive sell-off back here in this $5 price point. Now, this was followed by a lot of hatred. I remember when this took place and we saw shortly after a Jensen announcement, the CEO of NVIDIA, said that quantum computing stocks are 15 or 20 years away. And I remember the immediate backlash was this 70% sell down in the market. Again, this is 2025, January here at a CES event. And I remember going to the events right after in order to verify some claims. And while it seems that quantum computing is moving faster than most industries and is innovating in tremendous ways right now, and we do see revenues growing and growing pretty fast, the relative amount of revenue to how much money they are being worth as a stock does seem still at a premium. Because while Jensen was getting a lot of hate, again, 73% sell downs, some people even speculated that during that time it was because he wanted to get a better price on these stocks in order to buy them. But I don't think that was really a real story. But when you're looking at that sell-off, shortly after we saw a massive rally up to $58. There was talk of Amazon releasing the Ocelot chip, the Google Willow chip, and then the Microsoft Majorana chip. These were all new chips that these cutting edge, top magnificent 7 companies were announcing as new quantum technology. IBM announced that they made over $1 billion in cumulative quantum revenue. And there's just been a lot of reasons why quantum had that cycle continue to grow around those announcements. But even with those announcements, and we look at some of the revenue that's happened, we haven't actually seen it materialize into the type of income that you would expect from something that brings tremendous amounts of value to the world. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, we literally use it, for example, at Prophecy. This was what I was just mentioning that you can get when you join our challenge in the first link below. We've even included IonQ, which is a top quantum company, and Rigetti technology into the ability to analyze different projections on time frames. So I'm not totally unfamiliar. I've been to, 5 quantum conferences. I've even met some of these CEOs, but I'll tell you, you are an investor in a long-term thesis when you're looking at these quantum companies, because we're going to just talk a little bit about the financials here. Taking a look at the Rigetti picture, they recently came out with their earnings. It was their Q2, and during this earnings, this was just here, you could see back in August 6th, so about 2 weeks ago, they came out with these earnings. Now, in these earnings, what was interesting about this release here with Rigetti is that a lot of people expected more positive sentiment because their revenue jumped. They had $5.1 million in revenue. You can see that revenue spike here with even a positive net income, or $4.4 million in revenue, or I think it's 5.1. And they continue to grow here, and you can see their balance sheet growing. But the main concern when I look at these financials, and it's exciting to look at the quantum computing company, but when we looked at the actual financials, we looked at their recent earnings that they just came out with, what I'm noticing is the revenue is still very tiny compared to their relative cash burn. So their relative cash burn is going to be, for example, they might make 5.1 million in quarterly revenue, but that's against a $28 million operating loss right here. You see this net non-GAAP net loss, 28.5. And so it sounds good to see their revenue triple year over year. They've gone from 1.8 million to now their revenue came in at 5.1. That's great. But the absolute dollar base is small enough that this is still pre-commercial in looking at their company. They're not scaling. This is a small amount of revenue. And the real story is the gap between the revenue and the 30 million in operating expenses. OpEx is something to consider, especially with quantum, as they continue to see that. So that was one of the financial worries. Now, when we look at the chart and we see them kind of sell down and get back into the $17 level, what I'm also noticing is while the cash runway is like the single most important number, their cash and investments that they put in has been about 541 million according to their last earnings. So we're seeing a lot of capital investment for them to continue momentum. But there was one thing that we saw start to drive them up after their earnings. So it wasn't all red after their earnings. We actually saw even a little bit of spike maybe here in into their earnings up to about $20 a share. It was a 25% rally. And part of that was this announcement that they had for this government contracts and money coming in from the government. And I believe if we go to their news, it was something related to a letter of intent. Now, they have a lot of government funds coming in from different areas. It seems that's been a focus for the United States. But what it was a document, a DOC letter of intent that was up to $100 million from the CHIPS Act. I believe that was during the Biden administration, with the government potentially taking an equity stake. And what that would mean is that if it converts to equity, possibly you have a little bit of dilution baked in. So what I'm saying is this technology, I want to go into the technology, and we've gone so much into the quantum, the qubits, how they're improving their fidelity, how they're optimizing the quantum computers. In fact, we've even looked to innovate by using the actual technology. And it's very fascinating how much quantum has been innovating. You can see that they are partnered with Amazon and Google and Microsoft, and they're actually showing up in the distribution channels. That's how we're able to offer the analysis on prophecy, for example, to use the quantum computing to get out of all the projections, which one is the quantum computer seeing as most confident. In this case, it's anticipating an 18% gain with 56% confidence on Rigetti into the next 3 months. And so, a lot of projections and targets put this company to be bullish, and the investments from the government have been huge because quantum computers are able to process massive problems that otherwise would be extremely difficult to do with GPUs. Whether it's millions of data points or billions of data points. The core reason why this company's continued to surge from $1 up to now $17 is because when you look at the different drug discovery or material science simulating molecular or chemical interactions itself is quantum mechanical problems. And so classical computers just they approximate those things badly. So there's a lot of use for it in potentially drug discovery, binding or finding peptide proteins, how they bind together in order to find vaccines and cures for various diseases. Also, when you're looking at cryptography, there's a thing called Shor's algorithm, which is sufficiently large, and it's something that essentially would require a quantum computer that primes fast enough to break the encryption. And so that's why you see US and China pouring money into quantum in order to potentially speed up that race for security. You've got optimization problems, though. You have AI being used alongside it, and it's still very early, hence the reason why we haven't seen the revenue increase massively. You do see investments from Nvidia and Microsoft and IBM as well, but again, it's a long-term thesis. So anybody that's looking at it right now and seeing this trend, I'm not here to, downplay the stock, but the reason that I hold the company long-term and just continue to do that, and I don't really think about it too much and place a lot of importance on it, is because a lot of these swings where it's rallied to $21 or it's rallied to $56 are just these short-term hype moments where it's not going to be at those levels sustainably, if ever. But if it is at those levels sustainably, it is going to be like Jensen's roadmap. It's probably not going to be 5 years. It might even be 5 years, but it probably won't be 10 years. Maybe it will be 3 years. But I do believe that there is the possibility that it is 5 years. It might be 10 years. It might be 20 years before those price points are going to be sustainable. But right now, the sustainable price points in the floor for quantum seems to be somewhere in this range between $8 to $15, with the long-term thesis holders being the majority of the company, with certain retail getting in and out and some retail holding, expecting it to surge tomorrow or in the next month, when if it does do that, it most likely won't be for reasons that will hold extremely well. You can have breakthroughs, that's great, but you still want to see revenue in the companies. You're still going to need to see a financial gain in the companies for any of the valuations to make sense and hold at the levels that they're at in the billions and billions of dollars of market cap when they're only making, $5 million a quarter. And this company is currently at $6 billion market cap, and they lose money every quarter. And they also are seeing the net negative income. Now, the assets are also not too favorable. They're at just about 537 million in equity, and we've seen them spend or go negative in certain instances, having costs of over 200 million in a quarter, which means that it's possible that very quickly they may have to raise money. And we have seen over the last year that their amount of shares has kind of been a share count creep, where outstanding just in the last 6 months has gone from 331 million shares to 333 million in 6 months. So it's modest, but it is tracking given prior years' heavy kind of ATM issuance history. So the dilution has been kind of a repeated case for Rigetti, which could obviously help them with their cash, but also be something that investors might see the kind of blunt end of, and they'll see their shares kind of decrease in value as a result. So really big rally, yesterday or into the end of market, 11% gain. But just keeping in mind those, headwinds that they're going to be facing until they come out with excellent earnings or really big revenue increases. Those are going to be the headwinds that they're facing that are driving their stock price down. Now, once again, I hold them long term. I continue to do so, and not even here into my Robinhood account solely, but in my Schwab account. And we've been covering them since back in 2024. And again, it's a company that I think is an innovator in the next 5 to 10 years. But again, if you're looking for that long-term move, it's something that may or may not happen, but something you're holding for a long term. And if you're looking for the short-term move, it's going to be probably based more on the charts, more on the technical momentum, more on the news, more on what's the conversation in quantum right now. Right now, quantum's kind of recessing while Bitcoin is surging. And, it was the opposite, where when there was fears about quantum cracking Bitcoin, Bitcoin was dropping aggressively. We see Bitcoin go up 25% this week, and it's also seeing a decline in the quantum market, not fully correlated, but you do see about a 10% dip on the quantum market over the last week and a half. So just keeping that in mind, I do, again, continue to hold long-term, and we look for short-term opportunities as well. And that's where we'll be focused this week. And again, if you want to see those opportunities in action, you'd like to ever watch our daily live trading sessions, we've never ever given away our daily live trading sessions for free, included in Prophecy. But if you want to get the best analysis paired with our daily live trading sessions, you can watch me trade live, get my entries and exits, and then surround yourself with long-term investors and short-term traders. Have a look at the first link in the description. I would encourage you, to just simply take a look. It's not getting any better than this in order to get access. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.